state now calls Sheriff James Timberlake to the stand.
What exhibits do you need? Okay. Yeah.
Sheriff Timberlake, are you armed?
No, ma'am.
Would you come forward, please? Would you raise your right hand and be sworn? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this cause shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You may be seated.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Will you please introduce yourself?
My name's Jimmy Timberlake.
And what's your occupation, Mr. Timberlake?
You see the mustache? Badge? I'm a sheriff.
Mr. Timberlake, where are you, Sheriff?
Clay County, Missouri.
Now, can you please explain the relationship between Clay County, Missouri and Jesse James?
Well, Jesse's been around there quite a bit, causing all kinds of trouble.
And as sheriff, has that concerned you?
Yeah, I've been chasing him for a long time. He's a bad, bad man. I'm glad he's dead.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Now, is it common for a law enforcement officer such as yourself to work with other law enforcement officers to try to apprehend somebody?
Absolutely. In extreme cases, with criminals, we definitely join together.
Would you call Jesse James an extreme case?
I'd call him the worst disease in Missouri since the Black Plague.
Don't know that one got here, but do you recall working with any specific law enforcement officers in trying to apprehend Jesse James?
Yeah, I worked with Kansas City Commissioner Hank Craig.
All right. I'm going to try to draw your attention to the end of 1881, beginning of 1882. Did you speak with Henry Craig about Jesse James at that time?
Yeah, Henry came into my office and said he knew this fellow that said he could get Jesse James.
Did he tell you who this fellow was?
Yeah, it was Bob Ford.
Bob Ford. So after Commissioner Craig had came to your office and told you about this fella, Bob Ford, what did you do?
Well, I thought it was a good idea, so I called up the governor and we got us all together in the same room about a week later.
Okay. Who all is in this room a week later?
Well, it was me, Hank,
Who is
Commissioner
Craig?
Yeah, Bob Ford, and then the governor showed up.
And where was this meeting held?
Kansas City.
Do you recall where in Kansas City?
No, I don't.
Okay. It was at the St. James Hotel, was it not?
Probably.
All right.
I like that hotel.
So when did you arrive at the St. James Hotel?
Well, I walked in the room and Hank and Bob were already there.
Okay, was the governor there yet?
No, he didn't show up till later.
What did the three of you discuss before the governor got there?
I walked in and said, "Hi, Hank." He said, "Hi, Jimmy," and that was it.
Okay, how long before the governor arrived?
Oh, it was probably a couple minutes, not too long.
Okay. After the governor arrived and the four of you were sitting in the room, what was the first thing that you discussed?
Well, the governor didn't even sit down. He just walked in and turned to the Bob Ford and said, he said something like, I think, what was it? Can you help? I heard you can help with this Jesse James problem.
Okay. What did Mr. Ford say in response to that?
He said, I think I can get at him. My brother's in his gang.
Okay. And after that?
Well, that's whenever the governor said, well, I don't want you to get at him, I want you to get him.
What did you take that to mean?
Objection, speculation, Robert.
Sustained.
All right, after the governor made this statement, what, if anything, was said next?
Well, I think Bob talked next. He said, I saw there's a reward for $5,000. I can get him, for $5,000 or something like that.
So Mr. Ford discussed the reward money with the governor?
Yeah.
Any other aspects of the reward money discussed with the governor?
Reward money?
Yeah.
No, not really. Bob was worried about getting arrested.
Okay. What happened?
Well, he said, what's going to happen? I want this planned out. Am I going to get arrested? And the governor said, well, I'm the governor. I'll just pardon you. Made sense at the time.
Sheriff Timberlake, do you recall speaking with me earlier?
Yes.
At that time, you told me that the governor said something to you.
Okay.
Apparently, you've forgotten it now. About... Okay. You told me that the governor told you, quote, I need to end it, and I'll pay $5,000 to whomever ends it forever.
Oh, yeah.
Is that correct?
He said, forever. That's exactly what he said.
Okay. Was this before or after you talked about the governor granting a pardon for Robert Ford?
I believe it was after. That's about the last thing he said before he got out of there.
Okay. So during this conversation, the governor talked about granting a pardon, giving Robert Ford the reward money.
Mm-hmm.
Was anything ever discussed about how to apprehend Jesse James?
Well, Bob said, he's like, that Jesse James is mean, and he's got a bunch of buddies that are going to shoot at me. You know, I want you to know I'm not just going to walk up and grab him. And that's whenever I think the governor said, you know, just, I'll pay $5,000 if you get Jesse James.
So there was no discussion about how to legally apprehend Jesse James?
No.
There was no discussion about what to do after Bob Ford had gotten Jesse James into custody?
Nope, just get him.
Is there any discussion about where Bob Ford should take Jesse James after he had him in custody, be it the governor's office or Clay County Sheriff's Department?
Nope.
So the only thing talked about was that Bob Ford would get a pardon?
Well, money.
And money. Thank you. No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. Why is it necessary? Why was it necessary?
Mr. Timberlake, you love the state of Missouri, is that correct?
Absolutely.
And you wanted Jesse James to be caught, isn't that right?
He is scum of the earth.
In fact, you called him, and I think you just said, the worst disease Missouri has ever seen, is that right?
Absolutely.
In
Since
fact-
Black Plague.
Of course. In fact, Missouri had become known as the robber state, isn't that right?
Yep.
And that's probably because of Jesse James.
Absolutely.
Now, I'd like to talk about this, this meeting in the St. James Hotel.
Sure.
Now, the governor never said to Bob Ford, kill Jesse James. He didn't say those words, did he?
No.
He didn't say, pull a gun and shoot him in the back of the head, did he?
No.
He didn't say, wait till Jesse James is turned and pull your gun and shoot him, did he?
No.
In fact, the only words he said were, I heard you can help,
Yeah.
and I want him gone forever.
Forever.
Right, right. Forever. If Mr. James had been put in jail for a lifetime, he'd be gone forever. Is that right?
I guess so.
And if Mr. James had been brought in front of a jury and sentenced to death, he would be gone forever. Isn't that correct?
Yeah.
I have no further questions.
Redirect.
Sheriff Timberlake? Sorry to ask this again. You said you discussed a pardon that the governor would be able to give to Robert Ford?
Yeah.
Is it normal to discuss a pardon if you're going to arrest somebody?
Well, I've never had to get a pardon. I arrest a lot of people.
What are pardons normally given for in the law enforcement?
Well, if you commit a crime.
Speculation. This witness is not a governor. Only governors can be a pardon and wouldn't be able to testify to this.
Overruled.
What are pardons normally given for?
Well, the way I understand it, you get arrested or commit a crime, the governor can get you out of it.
So, in this meeting, the governor said he could give Bob Ford a pardon.
Yeah.
But arresting Jesse James and bringing him into the law wouldn't have been a crime, would it?
I don't think so, no.
Thank you.
No recrossing.
You're excused.
Thank you.
You're free to leave, or you now may stay in the courtroom.